everyone, and welcome to the second segment of The Road to Genesis. I'm your host, Claire Kasozi, and today in studio we have the beautiful, intelligent, amazing Lawino. Welcome with me, Lawino. Lawino, talk to the people.
Thank you so much, Claire, for that beautiful introduction. I go by the names of Nicole Priscilla Lawino Adoankolo, and I would love to identify myself as a daughter at the House of Love, a member of the church and the body of the risen Christ, and a former marijuana addict, which is a very interesting story. But all that changed when I came to the House of Love, where I found acceptance and peace that is honestly inexplicable. So yeah, that's it basically.
Yes, so Lawino, you've had quite a journey, and I'd like to start by learning more about your life before the House of Love. Can you tell us about your experiences and how you became the person that you are today?
Well, if I'm being absolutely honest, life before the House of Love was rather painful. Not to say that I didn't have some beautiful and exhilarating experiences, and not to say that I was a different person then than I am now. It's just that I was in a place where I was severely misunderstood, because from the get-go as a child, I had a relatively happy childhood and I lacked for nothing. Except I always desired to be an artist because I identify as a creative. That is who I am as a person. But in this climate of ours, an typical African setting, it's not really the best course of action to tell your parents that you'd rather be a singer, like, hey mom or dad, I want to be a singer for the rest of my life. So that led me to look for avenues where I could express myself truthfully and be accepted. But these were worldly avenues. And in those avenues, there came prices. So that led me to all sorts of places full of carnality, full of pain, full of drugs and abuse. And that's actually where I picked up the addiction to drugs, trying to be understood and not being understood. So right now in the House of Love, I'm not a different person. I am happier, I am more fulfilled, and I am definitely joyful and at peace. But it's not because of anything different. Nothing in me has changed. It's just that I have assumed a new identity, and that which is in me now shines brighter and allows me to manifest myself. Because I'm no longer using those gifts to praise men or to seek for personal glory as I was in the past. Now I'm using them for the glorification of that which made me. So ultimately, I'm at peace. I'm a happier person. Pain before, peace now.
Thank you, Lawino, for that response. And from what you said, I gather that life was not as easy in the past. So we would like to know, what exactly is it that changed? Would you like to share your transformation journey with us? That ticking moment, that light bulb moment in your life?
Well, that is a very interesting story. And it's a very simple one too. For me, it began and ended with a hug. That was it. It was one hug. I'd been to places, so many places. I'd been to churches, I'd been to shrines, I'd been to institutions, mental health institutions, rehabs, hospitals, with all these different people and professionals trying to fix me, because the assumption was that something was wrong with me. Why was I failing at things that were typically basic, yet I was presumably intelligent? Well, I came to the House of Love. And true to its name, I received love. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't looked at with condemnation. I wasn't looked at with disgust or with pity. They didn't look at my ripped jeans or sniff the marijuana in my hair. They didn't care about that. So for me, I received a hug that was full of something I could never really quite explain. Up to date, I can't explain it, honestly. I can only invite people to share and experience it at the House of Love for themselves. But what changed for me was the knowledge that there is something and or someone that accepts me for who I am, regardless of where I've been and regardless of what I do, and that I am covered. There's no condemnation. There is no judgment. And that came for me in the form and the shape of my father, D-Rain. Because he's the one who embraced me when everyone else told him to turn me away. And they had good reason to. I too felt that he could ideally and should turn me away. I wasn't good for the brand. I'm not good for you understand. But ultimately, that got me thinking that, hey, if I don't need to be anything else, maybe I am enough and I don't need to try anymore. And it just like one thing led to another until ultimately I came and I said, this is my home. I'm not going anywhere else. So that changed everything for me. That was the game changer. Unrequited love.
That is quite a transformation, and I'm very moved and inspired by your story. I gather from what you've said that you really had the true experience of love, and that takes me to our next question, which is really about Genesis. Everybody has everything to say about the Genesis, but we want to know, what is the Genesis for Lawino? What does Lawino have to tell the world out there about Genesis? What is happening on the 10th of November 2023 in your perspective?
Well, that is a question that just fills me with so much joy and excitement, because I feel like everything in the world has been building to this point on the 10th of November at the Lugogo Hockey Grounds. What does Genesis mean to me? Well, I'm going to speak from my perspective. I can't speak for everyone else. But to me, I feel like it is the renewal of everything. Because ideally, we know Genesis as the first book of the Bible. And it is where we have the first instance of an interaction with God and man. And so when humanity was in the Garden of Eden, the relationship was good, right? We interacted freely with God. We didn't hide from him up until the tree of good, knowledge of good and evil. So Genesis to me is taking us back, to a place where man and God live in harmony and coincide in peace, and everything is freely available for everyone. As a creative in particular, I think Genesis is an experience where we're going to reclaim music in particular. I love music, and it is my love for music that led me down a dark path, but not necessarily because music is evil. It is just that it has been turned into an industry, and so it became exploitative and abusive. On the 10th of November at Genesis, at an experience of love, we're going to experience the true purpose of music, which is to bring life. And we're going to give it out for free because it is a gift that we were given for free. So I just look forward to everyone coming and getting involved in this amazing and beautiful rapture. It's something that I would not want anyone to miss. Again, I cannot say it. You need to feel it. You need to listen to it. You need to let it thrum through your body, and you need to let it change you. Because Genesis is a beginning, true. But ultimately, I keep on saying, it is the beginning of the end of all your problems. So that to me is what Genesis is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the road to the Genesis, but for this particular segment, it has been the road to the Genesis with Lawino. Lawino, thank you so much for sharing insights into your life with us, for inspiring us, for preaching this gospel and being sold out for it. The House of Love has resolutely focused itself on sharing the journey to this very beginning that is also going to lead us to an end of ourselves and a beginning of the Christ in us. Stay tuned. Join us on the 10th of November at the Hockey Grounds. Do not miss it for anything in the world. I remain your host, Claire Kasozi. I love you.